Alright, hey, so this is actually the second time I'm recording this because my power went out and I pretty much lost all my stuff in the first one. So I pretty much know everything's going on. Alright, first and foremost, soldier on high ground over here. It takes way too long for anybody to do something about this. And you know, this soldier, he could very easily pick you off, especially the way that you're going to be playing. So you want to make sure that you call that out. Okay, so let's continue. Alright, we were just talking about this over Facebook Messenger. You have a tendency, there's no need to fly to Winston to heal him. Does he need healing? Sure, right, that's fine. But you don't need to fly to him, right? You want to keep yourself safe. And the way you do that is by not standing in front of the choke like this. One of the main ways that you're going to increase your survivability is by actually forming what is called like an L shape formation with your team. So you're gonna, you're gonna draw a line. Okay, this is the enemy team. Your team is gonna be standing here, and you don't want to be in the same plane as them. You want to dip off to the side, sort of like in an L-shaped formation, because what that allows you to do is stay out of the line of sight of the enemy team while being able to heal your team. And the second thing it does is it actually allows for you to remain hidden, sort of being out of sight of the enemy team. This makes it so that the enemy flankers, they sort of like kind of forget about you. You know, they don't really focus you down as often if they can't see you. But once you're out in the open, yeah, that's when you're gonna be focused down. Anyway, let's continue. This side's okay for healing. I prefer the other side. I'd prefer it if you were kind of like along this wall right here, maybe pressed over to the left a little bit more. That way the window guy has a harder time shooting you. Alright. Now, one of the things that, yeah, what you're doing, every time you do that, you put yourself in a bunch of danger. Every time you fly across that choke to heal somebody, you put yourself in danger. So you did it again. I mean, it's not like, sometimes you gotta do it, but you gotta, you gotta do what you gotta do. So, you have a Winston as your main tank, and so what Winstons want to do is they want to be, they want to sort of make space for your team. They want to dive into that back line and do some work. You also have a Zarya as your secondary tank. You're sort of like your off tank, and so if you notice your Winston's just kind of standing at the choke, tickling that Reinhardt, you want to tell him, hey Winston, jump into the back line. Zarya will bubble you. You're going to build her some ult charge, and the rest of the team's going to push in behind you once they get distracted. Um, it's like I told you before. You have to be the change that you want to see. You have to remind these guys what they got to do sometimes, right? And you got a bunch of people that are weak, but okay, you're good. Your Ana sort of doing some work. Now, reviving that guy, great idea. You want to be power boosting that Zarya, that's a great idea. She's building up her ult much faster, 30% faster actually, because of the damage boosting that you're providing. Now you're gonna notice that that guy, Krasor, is gonna be doing some fucking work for the rest of the game. And it's important that you keep that guy alive. He's gonna be doing tons and tons of work. Alright, so you kind of have a little bit of a plan. Wait for Genji to get his blade and then grab him. But which way are you going? Down the middle, off the side? Alright. Junkrat has committed suicide somehow. He's basically thrown the game if your team jumps on the point right now. You have ults already to pop. Your monkey needs to jump in. You gotta use that Valkyrie, right? Get some value off of that Valkyrie. You gotta get that Graviton. This is the time. They're down by once. You gotta scream to your team. Let's go. Move in. Move. 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 Come on. Let's go. Let's go. So you guys. Oh yeah. I guess we can go in. Right. Ooh. What did you see up there? Did you see it? Did you catch it? Let me go back just a little bit. Just a little bit back. Alright. Soldier on high ground. This is really bad. If that soldier was any good, he would have killed you right here, right? Instead of shooting that Winston Barrier, he would be shooting you. Right, they do call out the soldier, but nobody's really doing any work. I think it's a decent Valkyrie here. It's not a big deal. You're reviving everybody that dies. The fight's still even at this point. Um, you're doing as much as you can do. The fight's sort of going to shit though, and so your teammates are calling for a regroup. You definitely want to get out of there. These guys are dead, you know? They're dead. You're not gonna be able to save them. Basically, I mean, it's just basically giving the enemy team more ult charge. It's not a big deal, but you know, little things like that do make a difference. Alright. So at this point, you're doing the right thing. You're tabbing, you're looking at your team comp, and you're thinking, okay, how can we make this better? What can we do to improve our next push? We do have a couple of ults. We still have the Graviton, we still have the Genji ult. So that's kind of what we want to be pushing for. Okay, how can we make that happen? What is the game plan? And you got to be thinking these things because, you know, these guys in gold, well, you got a couple of plats on your team actually. They're gonna be very uncoordinated unless you have a plan. So while you're walking back to the point, make sure that you start discussing plans with these guys. Yeah, this guy Krasor, he's the guy you want to pocket. He is really good on McCree. Alright, so the plan is, let's go right side, right? That's the plan. Alright, well, let's do it. Alright, just make sure everybody's with you. Excellent. Good, 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 good. Alright, so you gotta be telling this Winston, Winston, what the fuck are you doing? We just said we're gonna go right side. Get back over here. You gotta Genji all the way the fuck over there. I say, guys, we gotta go in together. Winston, what are you doing? Uh, you have to be reminded. It's kind of like babysitting, right? Alright. So, what's happening with Winston is that he is playing into a Reaper. Now, this is a big miscommunication on your team's part. This killed your momentum right here. It sort of killed your push. Half of your team went in while you're over here babysitting Winston. Um, you know, it's unfortunate. You can't really do anything about it, but you gotta be thinking to yourself right here. Oh, okay, they're dead. What do you say? What do you do? Guys, we gotta get out of here. Let's regroup. Everybody back towards spawn. You don't want to get staggered. You don't want to get killed. And it works out okay in the end because these guys, they have no DPS is just really terrible on the enemy team. I mean, I'm sorry. They should have all pushed out and killed you right away. It was 3v6 basically. And you left Anna behind. I mean, whatever. And she manages to get out somehow, which just shows you the quality of the DPS on the other team. Alright, so you gotta say, hey Winston, you're getting countered by that Reaper. Right, maybe consider going a different hero. Alright, so you're up one, yes, but you already know what's coming, right? You gotta tell your enemy team, guys, Mercy's coming in. She's gonna res this, right? So that you can fuck that Mercy up as soon as she gets to there. Alright. You could have been out of this. You could have stayed safe, but you decided to walk forward and you fell into it. And I mean, most of the time that's not gonna work. Just sort of like popping your res and hoping for the best. But, you know, young Latino is popping off. Anyway, what I was saying before is a lot of the times when you grab a ton, you didn't know how many of your teammates were gonna survive there. This was really lucky, and it was a bad decision in my opinion. Your entire team could have gotten wiped and you would have lost your Valkyrie, and you would have revived somebody so that they can die again just to feed the enemy 400 more points of ult charge. This was lucky. Um, I would not recommend popping your Valkyrie while you're in a Graviton. It's just, you're gonna die. But it doesn't work out that way anyway. So, okay. Ryan pops his ult, it's kind of wasted. You're healing your enemy, healing your team. How could you lose this, right? Well, here comes Mercy, res, double res. I think she does a double res. And here's where it goes downhill, right? You start focusing this Mercy for some reason. You just start shooting her. You gotta remember, this is not your job. Your job right now is to be healing people and looking for a valuable res, okay? the most valuable res on your team right now is going to be either that really good DPS Krasor, or is going to be that Winston who can really do a bunch of work here on the point. But instead, you know, you kind of take your eyes off of her, and you end up getting killed by a soldier. You know, there wasn't much you can do there, to be completely honest. I mean, maybe your positioning could have been better. Maybe you could have been off to the side of the point instead of right on the point. But I mean, either way, it is what it is. Alright guys, so what's the plan? We gotta change something up, right? These pushes haven't worked. Do we still have Graviton? I think we do. Did we use Graviton already? Alright, here we go. So you gotta be telling your friend, okay, what's the plan? What's the plan, guys? What are we doing? You know, Winston, come on, let's go. Let's get in there. You can't just be sitting here at the choke taking damage. This Winston's pretty bad, to be honest with you. Okay, this is good. This is that L shape that I was telling you about, where you want to be sort of like, sort of perpendicular to your team. Alright, this, this is fine. You got that Reaper behind me. You're healing your team, that's fine. Your Winston was okay. Everything's going really good. You lost your Ana, so you revive her. I think that's perfectly fine. And look, this guy, Krasra, is just popping off. He killed that Riptire, killed the Reaper. You gotta say, guys, we're up. Let's go in. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Push in. Okay, so this is where you make some questionable decisions. In any higher tier, this would have gotten you killed. You fly all the way to a Winston that was already on the verge of dying. If I saw this if I was on the other team, you would be dead. Look at this Reinhardt. You flew right into a Reinhardt, and it basically got you all the way down. One more swing, and this guy would have killed you. So what do? You pop your ult. Man, this is really dangerous. I mean, this entire team should have been focusing you down, and you would have wasted your ult. You would have basically either died or revived Winston and then died, and then he would have died again. This is really, really questionable, but again, because of the because of the terrible DPS on the enemy team, you basically were able to get away with something that you really should not have been able to do. It's it's really bad to try and get those people that go out of position like that. If Winston jumps in and he dies, he dies. You have 10 seconds to tell your team, hey guys, push up, get me to that Winston safely. Right? A lot of the times when my friend, my Mercy that plays with me, when somebody dies in front of us, he says, Reinhardt, push up, and I'll like push up my shield so that I can revive. So, well, not me, but so that Mercy can revive him safely. So that's something that you should really consider doing. All right. So you want to be telling your teammates, okay, what can we do different? Mm, What's going to be our defensive strategy? Are we really going to run a diva as a main tank? Who's our main tank? Neither one of these two guys is a main tank. And this is a bad decision. I already know how the game turns out because this is the third time I watched the video, but you really want to be vocal about this, guys. We need a main tank. Diva's not a main tank, guys. One of you two switch to main tank. The Hanzo's rarely switch in my experience, so you want to make sure that you don't tilt the Hanzo in my opinion anyway. But yeah, you want to be telling guys we need a main tank, an Orisa, a Reinhardt. Um, I don't like Winston on defense here very much, but Orisa, Reinhardt would be good choices to defend that choke. How are you gonna hold this choke? All right, let me fast forward a little bit, save some time. All right. So, what are our defensive options? How are we going to play in order to stay safe and alive? My favorite spot is along this wall right here, sort of doing that L shape that I was telling you about. Along this wall right here is, in my opinion, the safest spot. You can sort of pop forward, put your healing beam on somebody, then walk back into cover, and that will keep you safe for the majority of the fight. That's one option. The other option would be behind this rock. It is a very small cover though. Winston's jump in all the time. It's not very good. The third option is this side over here, but you have the window over here, and if they have a Junkrat, if they have a Diva, if they have a Genji, if they have a Winston, if they have any of these mobility characters that can get to that window, that puts you in a lot of danger. So I would recommend this side over here as the safest. You can heal without any problem. Okay, you got 20 seconds. Let me. I don't want to fast forward. Just fast forward a little bit. Okay, here we go. Very important to spray.
I have the pixel spray.
So you want to be telling Hanzo, get on this high ground over here, right? You just remind him, right? Hanzo, get on the high ground. That way you have somewhere to fly to. Alright, it's pretty good, pretty good. Not really anything. This beginning, I just don't like this. I don't like you being in a straight line with the enemy, right? What that does is it reminds them, hey, there's a Mercy. We gotta jump on that Mercy. But if you're hiding over here, they totally forget about you. And this is at like all levels.
Hey, look at me, I'm Pharaoh.
Yeah, that's a really good trick to learn if you can pull it off. I sent you a video about that. Okay, so you wanna, yeah, you wanna get back with your team. You wanna try and get into that back line.
Is anyone dead?
Right here, you can be sort of dipping back and forth here for cover. You can use the bell for cover, but you definitely don't want to fly that way. Which is exactly what you do, and I knew that was gonna happen because I've watched this a couple of times. There's no reason for you to Guardian Angel in that direction. There's no reason in the world for that to happen. You have your res available. Okay, you're very, very valuable right now. Your life is more valuable than any of theirs because you can just pick them back up, but they can't do the same for you.
Protect,
Okay, you
please.
got extremely lucky.
Thank you.
In any other situation, you would have died because you were trapped by that Junkrat. But you know the DPS didn't focus you down on the enemy team.
On point.
And basically right now it's just cleanup. Yeah, just damage boost. Yeah, the Zarya. There you go.
I was just like, why am I
All right,
losing
to
my
reminder.
teammates?
Okay, guys, let's set up again. Let's set up.
Exactly.
Hanzo, get on that high. Hanzo, what are you doing out there? Hanzo, get back. Oh, okay, he's critical. Are you gonna, are you gonna risk your life to go save a critical Hanzo, who's way the fuck out there? I recommend no. It worked out in this case, but all it takes is for one of those DPS to say, "Oh shit, mercy," and pop their ult or something, and then the fight's
Honestly,
over.
I don't know if I'll be able to, like, morally be able to revive you.
Okay. Make sure you're power boosting that Zarya. That's gonna be one of those priority things. You gotta power boost the Zarya.
I'm discorded, so I'm gonna hide a little bit. Oh, nice. Is any dead?
Hanzo's popping off.
Pearls?
Alright, this is where you want to be. This is the sort of angle that you want. You can heal teammates, and you're kind of out of line of sight.
Is anyone
But then
gonna? Yeah. There you go. You can throw. Well,
calling out that Genji. Okay, Genji in top right. All of this is fine. There's not much you can do here. Like the positioning. You see how it's kind of safe? They can't really see you. Okay, you want a power
go through
boost,
it.
right? You wanna put that power boost on
Nice
somebody.
job.
Diva just fucked up. That wasn't
Come
even
here.
a Diva. Just basically just
Okay.
threw that for
Ah,
nothing.
Lord, no, thank you.
And
Trying my best to not die.
I mean, this is looking pretty bad. Your prioritization here is fine. You got the tank, and then you got your carry DPS.
We just need to come back.
Gotta keep everybody healed up. I'd say, I mean, right here, just make sure you couldn't see anybody, so you just wanted to make sure you did healing. It's just Genji and Junkrat, and here comes Lucio. I think this is fine. This is fine. This is all fine. Look at this guy. He's popping off.
Alright, everyone's coming
He's
down.
a great McCree. You got a big pocket in this guy. This guy's like basically like wanted.
Indeed.
You know, if you watch pro streamers or like on Twitch.
Come back this way.
Wanted is basically this crazy good McCree, but he needs to be pocketed by Mercy and he'll carry games. You gotta pocket that guy. Alright, Winston's in. Right, you wanna avoid Winston. Very good. Getting back into the spawn, I mean into the point, that's fine. Oh wait, bad decision making right here. This was good. Okay, look at where your teammates are. You got teammates here, teammates here, teammates here. They're all right here. The only teammate, you got one guy critical over here. There's no way that you can save him. And then you got your little Tracer on this side, right?
Diva, can I just call you my battery
And
charger?
Tracer's weak, and you're like, you know, you intended well. You want to save Tracer, but Tracer has recall. Tracer has blinks. Tracer uses health packs mostly. And okay, well, okay, Tracer's gone. So what do we do? Where do we go? Where are we going? What's our decision? Do we decide to move forward or do we decide to move backwards? Forward, you've got a bunch of enemies. You've got some enemies over here. You've got Zarya, looks like maybe Genji. You have Winston right here. You got Mercy over here. You got Junk. I mean, you're gonna put yourself right in the middle of all this, basically a shit fest. And of course, right, everybody notices you. They're focusing you down. Hey, get the Mercy, get the Mercy, get the Mercy,
Say a lot.
and boom, you're dead.
Never mind.
Right.
Maybe should have the Winston. Yeah,
Was the
Winston.
fight over anyway? More than likely. But of course, you always want to make sure that you give yourself the highest chance of winning. You're the most important person on the team.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Dude, I don't know. Should we
Alright.
contest it?
Anyway,
Fuck,
there's
really?
no contesting happening. I'm going to just fast forward a little bit. Oh,
Is he doing?
a little too
Maybe
far.
later.
Alright. This is great. You want to make sure that... okay. So, you have this bad habit. You see Tracer over there. Tracer can take care of herself. Tracer has blinks and recall. There's no reason for you to leave this high ground to go and power boost the Tracer against Lucio.
Okay.
It's just a bad decision. It worked out, but what you really want to be doing is,
Genji's well.
I'll tell you right now. Okay, this is what you want to be doing. You want to be up here with McCree, right? And then what you want to do is you want to jump off, not Guardian Angel. You want to just float down like this. There we go. You want to imagine McCree standing right here. What you want to do is you want to float off, holding that spacebar, angelic descent, heal your teammates, and then turn back, look at McCree, fly back, and then jump off again and float, and continuously just kind of like Guardian Angel back, float Guardian Angel back, float Guardian Angel back, float. Because what it does is it makes you very hard to hit. Some characters like Reinhardt can't even hit you at all when you're in the air like that, and it makes you very, very difficult to hit. This works on a lot of maps. Like for example, on Umbani, that's a very good strategy. You don't actually have to be standing near those doorways, you know, where a bunch of people come through. You can just be sort of floating off the side. You know, you just jump off while keeping your healing beam on them and then float back on. You jump off and then fly back on. And you do that over and over, and it's a great strategy. You can do this on Oasis. You can do this on Numbani. I mean, these applications you can do them on a lot of maps.
That Winston's one. Winston's
I
second.
think this is fine. Okay, so like right here, you say, oh shit, there's a bubbled Genji. So what you want to do, you want to jump off, keep looking this way, keep healing these guys, but float backwards. And once the danger's done, you fly back on.
And everyone is jumping.
Oh, I'm staying on point.
Okay, yeah, there's no way that you were gonna save that diva. You kind of put yourself out of position right here.
Nah.
Yeah, that was a bad decision. This is a diva, right?
Point.
And she's getting melted by a high charge Zarya. You've put yourself in a bad position. You should have been floating up here like I was mentioning right now, and you would have avoided all of this shit, right? You definitely would have survived that if you had been in a proper position. So here comes that double tracer res, which it works out, I guess. Um, but I think in reality it was kind of like pretty questionable. I would have allowed, you know, like Diva to get back onto a point or Zarya to get onto a point. She's a much more valuable res. But okay, I mean it worked out.
Could you bubble me, Zarya? I'm at spawn.
Um, this is why Mercy is OP, by the way. She just freaking, you just saved this whole point all by
Yes,
yourself.
yes.
You allowed this to happen. Otherwise, it would have been
Go get
lost.
that
But
fucking Winston. He's gonna kill me. I swear to God.
it's fine. It's just cleanup at this point.
Oh my God.
So at this point, you want to say, okay, McCree, get
Yeah,
back on that
yeah.
high ground,
I
and then you're
feel
gonna
like
keep doing your
nobody
your
recognizes
angelic
you
descent,
and
jump
it's
off, float, jump
weird
off,
that you
float,
know the
guardian angel, just like that, and then you just float off the edge.
it's one action. Thanks.
Okay, all this is fine. See, right there, you just float right back up. There you go. But you don't even touch the ground when you do that.
Okay, what the right
Awesome.
now
So
there's
you
a
called
best
out.
time
They're
to get
coming
this.
left. They're coming left, guys.
Yeah, fuck it.
Junkrat's still spamming you right here. You just jump off like this, and then boom, you float. Perfect, just like that. But you can do that repeatedly. You never really want to touch the ground here if you can avoid it. So where do you want to stand during a very hectic fight like this? You want to use all the natural cover. There's no cover here. This is dangerous. They have a Winston. He's gonna fuck you up. You're not gonna have much places to run to. If you stand more near the back, you have this natural cover that you can use, right? And you have more places to fly to, more possibilities. This is fine. So you're using the natural cover. This is great. That's great. That's great. And then you decide
Hello?
to sort of fly right into the point for no real reason at all. It's like you're just like trigger happy with that guardian angel. You just want to fly to things, right? You again, you've made a bad guardian angel. You've actually flown into the enemy team, and that's gonna cost you. Well, I mean that one it was Genji. But if Genji hadn't gotten you, then Zarya would have gotten you, or somebody would have gotten you. That,
Huge diva.
yeah, that Diva bomb was made a
One
big
red that
difference.
could probably get ult if that diva's. I fucking.
I see you coming in. Excellent. Revive Diva.
It's gay. I have red.
So start building that ult, and then
I get heals up top.
yeah, there you go. And then you just pop it. Definitely perfect. I think this was very clean. Very very clean.
Some kill this Zarya, dude. There
Okay, don't take out your pistol, man. You don't. Your team doesn't need help with DPS.
we go.
Alright. All that time you could have been damage boosting the entire team, which is way more damage than your little pistol's gonna do. Okay.
Nice.
This is okay. Yeah, you just want to kind of be going back and forth. Just floating like this, perfect,
Do we
just
have
like
any
that.
ults?
If you can just get used to that and keep that mentality, okay, I'm gonna
I'm 50.
float around and then go back to high ground, float around, go back to high ground, it's gonna make a big difference.
Okay.
They've
Okay, I'm
got
on your
one last
side.
push left. You want to make sure that you're in high ground position. Now, I'm not sure if you're doing that on purpose or if it's an accident, but that's a really, really hard technique to do, and it's great if you can master that. Hop up straight into the air. Yeah, this Diva's super out of position. I wouldn't recommend trying to go save her and risk getting picked. You want to stay with your team. But this is all fine.
Kill
And
that
Tracer
fuck.
goes
I
into
got
something
soldier.
ridiculous here. I think she like pulse bomb. Yeah, she pulse bombs a Mercy,
Oh,
and
you
that
got the mercy.
basically
That's it,
wins.
boys.
Yeah,
That's
that
it.
basically wins the fight for you guys because you have Mercy. You have it's
Vamos,
like a
vamos.
7v5 right now. All this is pretty clean. No real issues here.
Last turn on point, guys.
So so I think yeah I think you got it right here.
GG, guys.
All right. All in all, overall, really good Mercy play. I mean, you're obviously a solid Mercy main. I think you're a little bit trigger happy with your Guardian Angels. You just want to be flying around when a lot of times you don't need to. You know, don't fly across chokes. Don't go and try and heal a Winston that's critical 1v6 because maybe it works at your elo, but when you get to higher ranks, especially on PC, the DPS do not mess around. You put yourself out of position like that, you are dead. Um, Keep in mind that you want to make sure that you're using that L formation where you're perpendicular to your team, right? You don't want the enemy team to really be able to spot you because that will remind them that they need to kill the Mercy. Um, Make sure that you're using your angelic descent from high ground, that you're floating, right? And then you fly back to high ground and never really touch the ground. You don't want to be you don't want to be healing Tracer like that. You know, Tracer can handle herself. There's no need to be, jumping down, putting yourself in danger to save a Tracer. Tracer's okay. Um, Let me see anything else. Um, oh yeah, the when you get put into a graviton, do not pop your Valkyrie. Here it worked out because you got super lucky, but you do not want to do that. Save your Valkyrie, save your reses, keep all that stuff safe for the next push because more than likely, if you got gravitoned, you're gonna lose two or three people, maybe more, and the fight typically is over. The, Make sure that you're looking at your team comp and the enemy team comp, and then you make appropriate changes. Communicate with your team members. This applies for your six stack too, for the time of you team. A lot of the times the DPS they get really tunnel visioned and they just can't switch, or the tanks they don't realize that they're being countered, and a lot of times it's the mercy in the back who can see what's happening most. Um, all in all, dude, it's you're doing good. You're doing good. Um, just don't build any bad habits with with those DPS, those bad DPS and like gold and low platinum, because it will not work when you get to diamond when you play against better teams. So, all right, man, good job, and hopefully I don't lose it this time. All right, take it easy.